quite cute.
Welcome to the final episode of the first season of All Ours Quite Useless. As I mentioned last week, we're going to take a little break while we prioritise some other projects and recover from feeling the need to record all of our conversations. For now though, we have one more episode to show you, and it could very well be the best episode of the run or the very worst. We have no topic to discuss this week and wanted to mull over what we've put out there so far and have a more casual chat than we normally do. We bollock on about our favourite moments of this run and our favourite jingles, but also other meaningless bullshit too. Eateries we used to frequent at university, the modern pub experience, and we rank condiments. You'd have been forgiven for thinking this was an art podcast at some point. Back at the end for more hot toddy, but enjoy the intro music for one final time this series. If anything, I've been very kind to you guys all throughout this season. I could have just edited, I should start cutting up every word you say, so I can just make you say anything I want.
Well, Liv kind of self-owns herself every time she tries to pronounce a word longer than 2 syllables. Pharmaceutical.
Pharmaceutical being my favourite at the lot.
Oh, don't. What was was there another one?
There was
another one. I don't remember what it was,
It was, God, I feel like it was in the Eno album. It was on that episode. Whatever it was so embarrassing.
Oh my god.
What was the word that I tried to pronounce that I fumbled completely, Louis, and you made that clip of it? Do you remember?
Oh, I'm not sure.
Was it? Oh, I remember. It was irreverence. But I said it. Irreverent. Irreverent. Completely stumbled on every possible syllable.
Fellas and fellasses, this is our last episode of the season. How do you feel?
I feel cool. I think it's good to have a little break to recollect our thoughts and let the episode sit like a smelly poo in the air for a while. And then we can reconvene and bring more.
Let that stank hang. That's what I'm hearing. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, all I know is I need a holiday, a very long holiday, and I don't expect I should be coming back.
Jack, your life is one big holiday at the minute.
All right.
But Liv, you're on holiday every day to Subway.
Yeah, Subway is my holiday, to be fair. It's just so fun there.
I just meant a holiday from you guys.
Fair enough.
What's a Colchester again?
Why did you go to Coley?
Yeah, why'd you go to Colchester?
I'm not going to dox myself, so I'm not going to give away personal information on the internet, but I was visiting a friend.
Whoa.
Oh, I think I know which friend.
Now everyone knows I have a friend in Colchester. If you're listening, hi.
Look it up. The Black Hole, Colchester.
Sick gaff on Saturday.
Nice.
That's funny. We didn't receive our invites.
No.
Did they not want us to record a live podcast at this party?
Jack, when are we going back to your humble abode for a Seshatron 3000?
I don't know. This isn't. I don't want to have this conversation on the podcast.
Yeah, well, I didn't say where, did I?
I know. I don't want to talk about my humble abode on the podcast.
All right, moving on.
What, are you afraid Nick Land's going to come after you?
Just see a silhouette like on my driveway.
Abdelatif Kashish, director of Blue is the Warmest Colour, will knock at your door and say, "Why did you not watch my entire movie?"
Both wearing VR masks.
Through the sex scenes, they are integral.
I don't know about you guys, but that's the episode I think back to the most, is the Blue is the Warmest Colour one. I think that's probably had the most lasting impact on all of us.
It's the most divisive.
Oh, I have some grievances.
Oh, of course you do.
It is a bit dumb in hindsight, Jack, that you didn't even watch the whole thing.
Jack. Oh my god, I feel like we really didn't talk about
I'm not going to waste my time
even
on bullshit.
fucking watch it. Well, this is literally a podcast
watched
where we
enough.
discuss art, and you're meant to like.
I watched
art.
an hour and a half of a 3-hour movie, and that was more time than it deserved.
Okay, you really can't comment then.
You only watched an hour and a half of it?
Well, I don't know how much I actually watched of it. I watched the whole thing, just fast forwarded some parts. I watched it all. Like when people ask, which no one will because no one likes it because it sucks. But if people did ask, have you seen Blue is Almost Colour? I'd say yes, because I have. Because I sat down and I watched it, and that's why I could give my perspective on it when we discussed it, which was it's a truncated piece of garbage. And but you can hate on me for skipping through the boring scenes of people eating spaghetti with their mouths open, but I think I made the right decision.
To be fair, that was nasty. I did not like the spaghetti scenes very much.
No, you're just
I didn't think that sentence was going to end with spaghetti.
Oh my god! Whenever people don't like a thing you like, they're closed-minded.
No, it's just because I knew you were gonna react like that, and you didn't even watch it because you just closed yourself off.
I did.
It.
No, I didn't. I opened myself up to it. It attacked me. I shut myself down.
Yeah. Well, I could have
like a disease in a body. I was the white blood cell to myself.
Right. Okay. Well,
got some great memes out of it though.
Yeah, that's true. Oh god, yeah, I made a bunch of memes
memes
for that, didn't I?
Bunch of NSFW memes.
A lot of NSFW memes. I found those a few weeks ago, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I forgot
This is a
I
thing."
did this." for a bit that never got used on the podcast.
When you accidentally click on the Discord server that you sent them on, it's a bit of a shock. It's like, oh, bloody hell.
There's like 7 of them as well.
oh god, yeah, very bit.
I was gonna say, Jamie, what's been your
risque.
favourite moment of the pod? What's been your favourite so far?
I don't know whether it's because it's fresh in our mind, but I very much enjoyed myself and Liv recreating Shoot You Down.
Oh, that was good. Yeah, that was very
Particularly
good.
the way that it was edited. Made me feel
I
quite
liked
proud
that.
of my musical timing.
When the day is done and it all works
Yeah, it was spot on. I expected that to be a lot hot. Especially the worst thing was you guys called it out as it was happening. Like, oh, you better edit this into that. I was like, oh,
Oh
God, this could
no.
take some time. Oh God.
And it's in pitch as well.
Yeah, it fit perfectly. I did so little editing towards that. It was
Almost
the
as
talent
good as
was
Ian
yours.
Brown himself. Renowned for his
Whacked.
singing.
Whacked on the auto-tune.
continue to trap stars yet.
Oh, that would be glorious. I've always
That
wanted
would
to be
be
on a trap
glorious.
song.
If you had to go out for dinner with any musician in the world, who would you want it to be? I'm gonna say trap musician, but then I realised I probably couldn't name you like 2.
2 trap musicians. Do they have to be alive or dead? Can we have a fantasy one?
Either, yeah. I'd go out for dinner with Paul McCartney in a heartbeat.
That's a good one.
That is a good
And
one.
I think ideally we'd go for pancakes together. We'd go for like brunch.
And go to some vegan breakfast place with them.
Oh, that's true, yeah.
Eat
See,
some
you're
Linda
not veggie.
McCartney sausages.
He just sees the packaging and cries.
He'd be so sick of it. I have
Probably
this all the time at home.
Nah, he'd love it. I bet he'd bring it. I bet if they served
Naturally
anything
more
but
of a
Linda
corn
McCartney.
man.
Nah.
Not to a restaurant. He wouldn't bring food to a restaurant.
Oh, he would. You don't know him like I
don't
know
think
him.
He brings his own packet of sausages to a restaurant.
Do you reckon he's one of those people that brings their own sauce everywhere? I remember that was on an episode of Come Dine With Me. One of the guests on Come Dine With Me used to like bring their own sauce to all the guest houses, and one of them was just like, "That's so fucking rude."
That is
It's
quite
like,
weird.
It was
Like,
big drama.
what kind of sauce was there?
Like a little bottle. I don't know what it was. It was some very specific sauce, and
weird.
I guess no one had it in the house, so she just brought it with her everywhere, like a small, like a fun-sized travel bottle in her handbag.
I think if
But
someone,
what sauce goes with every meal like that? Do you know what I mean?
some people are just.
Well, I
pissed
think it was
off.
just some. I think it was just someone with like a very limited palate who basically liked food one way, and it was covered with that sauce.
Haven't you seen those shows where like people just have mint sauce on everything? Like this guy was like, "Yeah, I just love mint sauce. I have it on ice cream. I have it like
Mint
with
sauce is
everything."
sick though.
Mint
What
sauce-
Not on
shows are
ice cream.
these?
Oh, is it
Huh?
My
It's one of
Stranger
those
Diction or
shows.
something like that?
Oh right.
Documentary starring Olivia Loudon.
Yeah, so it wasn't starring me.
Hello and
but-
welcome to mint sauce on everything this week.
I don't actually like mint sauce that much. I'm more of a
Mint sauce
horseradish kind
mania.
of girl.
Oh, horseradish is the best, isn't it?
I think I would go horseradish above mint sauce, but that doesn't mean I dislike mint sauce. Let it be known.
It's just I.
Yeah,
I think
nice.
mint sauce is great. I think it's brilliant,
I mean, if someone said,
but only with like roasts. Like I wouldn't have
Yeah.
it with like ice cream like that. Weird.
No.
if somebody said, Jamie, would you like the mint sauce? I'd be like, pass it over, my friend.
I'd just be like, take it or leave it.
I'm not sure I've ever had mint sauce. Like, I'm trying to think
Really?
of again, maybe at a roast, but
That's the only time you really have it.
that's the
Yeah.
thing. Like, I don't know if you've noticed this. Full disclosure: myself, Jamie, and Liv are vegetarians. Jamie's a vegan, even. But I don't know if you found that since going that way, you get less opportunities for certain sauces. I'm a big fan of mustard, but there are less natural opportunities to eat mustard if it's not with like sausages or
I disagree.
Like pork or gammon.
Just stick it on anything, mate. Don't let that dictate your condiment intake. I certainly don't, as you well know.
Yeah, you're heavy-handed with the condiments. I got in trouble for letting you have all the mayo at my house once.
Well, it's like you put it on the table, hun. What do you expect me
Yeah,
to
I
do?
don't expect you to empty
Oh,
that
that's such
bad boy on the
poor.
plate.
That's such poor etiquette.
I didn't know it was someone else's. Louis just put the mayo on the table.
Well, how about you just don't eat all the mayo at someone else's house?
It was nearly
you
all
animal.
gone. Like, sorry, I want some mayo. For God's sake.
Mayo's fucking good, to be fair.
I've come round to mayo in my later years. I kind of see its necessity these days as like sandwich lubricant. That's kind of what it exists for, isn't it?
See, that makes
Well,
me
in a
not like it,
burger.
Louis. Never
It's good
describe it
with
like
chips.
that again.
I see. I'm
yeah.
not fussed about it with chips.
Oh, I love it with chips.
Yeah,
Oh.
I think it's the best
Oh.
with chips, actually.
I went like
I
my
think
nan,
it's
then.
I think it's underrated. Ketchup's got the monopoly on chip condiment, but
Yeah.
mayo's the secret one. You know what I mean?
Nah,
The servant of the secret fire.
I think in the UK it used to be the secret one. Obviously, the Europeans always have mayo with chips. But now I think, actually, mayo is overtaking ketchup to be the number one chip condiment.
The way to find that out is when we're all allowed to go. I guess we could go into restaurants now, but if you already self-portion chips, see what they bring it out with first. Like, what's the default sauce that they bring it out with? Because some places do.
They're pretty
Ketchup,
neck and
some
neck,
places do
aren't
mayo.
they?
Yeah.
Yeah,
We
I
went
think
out
it's
for a
too
pub
close
dinner
to
the other
call.
night, and they brought them both out together. It's the assumed combination that they
Yeah.
bring to the table.
Well, those
It's
are
like-
usually the two in the rack in the middle with the menu.
Yeah. If I'm having chip shop chips, it's only ever ketchup. I'd never have mayo with chip shop chips for some reason.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
But
yeah,
like
I'm like that.
other chips is fair game.
What about
Curry
like
sauce
you have,
is the
like-
one there, though, isn't it?
what about chunky chips that aren't from the chip shop?
Yeah, mayo would be good.
You go mayo there?
What, like pub chips?
Fair dues.
I love ketchup.
Pub
I
chips.
love
I'd say pub chips and mayo. That's the way to go.
Oh, don't know why that got me so
This
much
is-
then, Jamie. Oh, pennies. Yeah, it was really it was really nice going to
Fucking fair
a
play.
pub for dinner the other day. I have to say, I hadn't really missed
Oh,
it
you've
much
been
in
out then?
lockdown, but we went out for a pub dinner, and I kind of forgot how much I love pub chips.
What? I thought you weren't gonna go.
Yeah, it's funny that.
Who'd you
Yeah.
go with?
Mum and Dad. I think we've
Nice.
been fishing
Oh,
in the day, and then thought on the way back home we'll get a pub dinner.
What'd you get?
I had a falafel burger. The burger itself was just okay, but the chips were really bloody good.
Just okay.
It was all right. I've had better falafels are so hit and miss, honestly.
They are. I feel like it's got to be homemade to be nice.
I prefer it if they do them in a fryer.
on pubs. Me and Lonnie went to one on Friday, and it was just very nice to be around people, like to hear the ambient sound of like gatherings. Do you know what I mean? Like not people that you share a living space with, just like random people who are.
I completely disagree. If anything, that's the thing I really dislike about it. It's how many people.
Bloody people.
I guess it's different. Like I live in Cornwall, and there's just so many people around at the moment. And it's just like, oh god, they're going to infect all the Cornish people. And also, all the people that come around near where I live as well. They're such massive dickheads. They're just.
Is that why you
Apologies to
moved
any-
there?
Apologies to any Audi driving twats out there, but they're all Audi driving twats, and you come across them down a country lane, and they don't give you any room because they don't want to, they don't want to get their bloody Discovery up against a hedge or something. Lo and behold, honestly, it does my head in.
Yeah.
I want to throw frozen eggs
Well-
at them.
I had a nice time.
Sorry, yeah.
I said I haven't had the experience yet of going to a pub post-lockdown. I haven't been to a restaurant either. No.
I haven't had a pint in a pub yet, but I did have a meal there. The meal was nice.
What did you have?
Roast.
Nice.
But do some roasting.
This is about as fun as the bonus episode I was hoping it would be.
What did you eat?
Oh god.
So what did you eat at the pub when you went? Oh, nice.
Roast.
Nice. Fair play.
Okay,
Next
my
week we
favourite.
discuss roast.
What's your
My
perfect
favourite-
Sunday?
Chatting to you guys on this podcast.
Oh,
That's your favourite.
Mm-hmm.
Loser. Joking. That's sweet. No, this whole thing came about. It was just as an opportunity, really. Like we basically just took advantage of the fact that no one could go anywhere, and Zoom became like the lingua franca of everyone's social life. So, I think Louis was like the impetus behind starting one, and then obviously it just seemed natural to tie it to the magazine. And yeah, so it's been. I guess we've made the most of it, really.
Yeah.
Hopefully we
It's been
can
great.
continue.
Jack,
Yeah, it's been really fun.
did you?
Yeah?
You said Zoom is the what behind what?
Lingua franca.
Lingua
The
franca.
lingua franca. Yeah, Jamie,
Oh.
do you want to explain that one? Because you're a linguist.
Yeah, I haven't. I was literally just thinking. I haven't heard that word in years. It means the most commonly spoken language of a particular area.
Oh. Do you want to know something funny? I thought you said Franco Manca because we'd because we socialise on Zoom instead of at Franco Manca, which we used to do a fair amount of.
Do you know what? I could smash one of those pizzas soon. It's been so long.
They're so good.
Very right.
And
So
cheap.
good. Well, that's the thing. I mean, I think the pizza's really good quality. Obviously, Liv is just a bit of a contrarian, but whatever. But yeah, for the price, it's extra good. Do you know what I mean? It's so fucking good.
Nah, they're pretty decent.
I think the wine there is pretty nice as well.
You got beef with Franco Manca, Liv? I've never heard
Well,
this.
it's just, yes, you have. Every time we'd like go out for food, you'd always be like, let's go Franco Manca. And it's like,
Yeah.
we not just like broaden our horizons a bit.
In case any of the listeners were wondering, Liv's a treat to take places. She doesn't whinge at all.
Says you. You're the most difficult
Oh yeah,
person
mate. Pot,
I know.
pot calling kettle black.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna like. I'm so glad we could all meet at Franco Manca. Yeah, it's alright.
Sorry, I want a bit of variety in my life.
We used to go to that Vietnamese place sometimes, didn't we, at uni?
That was yum.
Yeah, that was nice.
Hot and spicy soup was the one.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of other restaurants we used to go to.
Um,
Chicken base, but that was just for dodgy
Chicken
£1
base.
pizzas and chips.
It's technically
Yeah,
a restaurant.
basically the.
They have tables and chairs.
They don't. Well,
That's
they
true.
did. They had like
They
a
had-
weird
they had
leaning
that-
area.
They had the the green bench that was built into the walls.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
which
it
was like
was-
almost always falling over.
It was built like a
Yeah.
Bookies more than a chicken shop.
That's so true.
You felt like you were about to get processed in some like post-Soviet country or something. It's just like, and then your chicken had arrived. And you're like, oh, I can leave now.
Thank God.
Oh man, I know I've said this a lot, not on air, but just the quality of chicken there was just the worst. I ate meat.
Yeah, it
there
really
sometimes
was.
back there at uni, but it was so bad.
But
you could taste the suffering, especially at Chicken Base. It
Lovely
was
service, though. Lovely people.
God, there were nice
Yeah.
fellas that worked there.
service with a smile.
And
I
subpar
got
chicken.
free chips there from beating Liam in an arm wrestle once. So
Also-
boss man gave me free chippies.
You don't go chicken base for the chicken, you go for the £1 pizzas, which are divine. And the
I'm
garlic
not sure
mayo.
divine's the word. Economic, yes.
They are divine, they're
Yeah.
so yum.
When you're a poor student, they're a godsend, but in almost every other respect, they're a complete and total waste of matter.
They're so nice. What are you talking about? Honestly,
I mean,
why have we been going to Franco Manca? Like, I'm not wasting a £5 on Franco Manca when I can just get
Oh,
five
mate,
£1
that-
pizzas.
Then they should not even be in the same conversation. Not even.
Yeah, but they're just so good because they're £1.
we should point out we aren't sponsored by any of these places.
This
Chicken
podcast
Base.
is brought to you by Chicken Base Reading.
That's what you think. They've slipped me 7 £1 pizzas for this brand deal.
I remember
They're
once
trying to kill me for bad mouthing them.
on that road where Chicken Base is situated, like 2 shops down, was a really really good Indian restaurant called Mia's Garden of Gulab, which I still don't quite know what that means. I always meant to look that up. What is the Garden of Gulab? But I never did.
That was it.
Yeah.
It was the friends we made along the way.
The secret gulab.
Entirely literal.
It's really really good food there, and I remember ordering a takeaway from there once in my Google Chrome autofill. It put my last Halls address in rather than where I was living currently, so I sent my delivery driver to Halls. He's like,
Oh,
"Hey man,
Christ.
I'm outside your Halls." I'm like, "Oh Christ, I've given you the wrong address." And I had to explain to him that, I'm sorry, entirely of my own fault. I've sent you somewhere completely different. It's a bit of a pain in the arse to get to by car. And he sounded so disappointed when I told him on the phone. Like, just immeasurable unhappiness on his voice, knowing that he had to get to where I was. When he eventually turned up, it was one of those situations like, I definitely should tip him. I should definitely tip him. I've made his day really bad. Yeah, I didn't.
You bastard.
I think about that quite a lot, that moment. I was like, I should have tipped him, but I just didn't.
Oh, I hate that. It's so awkward.
We don't really have like a culture for it in the UK. Do you know, like in the US, at least they've got a system. They have a percentage that they go to. We don't have anything like that. It's done on. You do it by eyeballing it.
It's like discretion, isn't it? Tip at your own discretion. And also, like, certain professions, like taxi drivers, it's not that common to tip. Like, you might just be like, "I'll keep the change" or whatever.
Yeah,
but...
you might round it up.
I'd usually round it up, I would, yeah.
But it's like, I think they always expect to give you the full amount of change back, don't they, taxi drivers?
Yeah, no one expects a tip, really.
No.
Just, probably, like, enforces a bit more of a positive vibe in the service industry, I think, with, like, customer, like, service relations, because you don't feel obligated to give them money, then you might be more inclined to give them, like, a lot more. So, I don't know. Be interesting to see how it works, like, psychologically.
I'm glad we don't have a hardcore tipping culture here.
I love that whenever you get to a restaurant and you look at the receipt and it says like a service charge has been applied every single time without fail. A person at the party with goes, "Oh, the bloody cheek of this! They've put a service. They've put a service charge on every single time." It will be said.
The only time that's annoying is when you're trying to split the bill and then you forget to put the service charge into the overall.
Your equation.
Oh man, yeah, I've been so diddled with that before. I remember first year at uni, I'd been out to a pub with some mates, and I was the last one to pay on card. And so I didn't actually check. I just assumed that the number, by the time it got to me, it was the amount that I owed. That was my thinking. A naive 18-year-old. And I remember I didn't realise till the next day when I got back to my halls, was sat on the toilet going through my finances. I saw that I spent like 40 quid for dinner in a pub. So
my god.
I just died inside.
40 quid.
No.
Oh, you got so shafted.
It only should have cost me about 10. I was so poor at the time as well. I had no money either.
Oh man.
Did you ask for the money you were owed back from those people?
I think I might have done, but then I thought
you bloody should have done, because that's
I don't remember what my my process of thought was afterwards. But
it's a tricky one. That just
it was kind of on me.
Good job you met us. Good job you met us.
Anyway,
you don't take advantage of your good nature.
Mistake. Yeah, so that's why I'm
those friends
today now.
So what's everyone's favourite episode been? Okay, everyone do their favourite episode for enjoyment and then do their favourite topic that we've talked about. Which wasn't your own, obviously. Louis, you start.
In terms of what we've looked at, I don't know, like My Bloody Valentine and the Brian Eno ones I was already aware of. So I guess, but I really enjoyed the conversations, and I think that recent My Bloody Valentine one was one of my favourites in terms of enjoyment, because I remember being quite worried quite early on in that podcast as we were recording it that we might run out of things to talk about very, very quickly. But I was really pleased with how that one turned out in the end, as it sort of spiraled into a chat more broadly about music. And those have been my favourite ones generally, is when when about like 10 minutes in I think, oh dear, if we already said everything that we have to say, and it just takes a moment or two to get the conversation going again. I really enjoyed that My Bloody Valentine one. But if I had to, I'd also like to say though that I think in terms of something that I'd never looked at before, the short stories week we did, I really, really liked that.
That was a good one. Jack?
Yeah. I know, like, said, don't pick your own ones, but the Lee Hardcastle week was really fun because for a couple of reasons. One, because it was a medium that we hadn't done before, and it was it was on the more experimental side of things, and so I was very curious to see what you all made of it. And because of the overwhelming positive response it got, it felt very gratifying to have shared it with you lovely people, because I've been sitting on that for a while. Like, no, it was like one of those things that is relatively popular, but not that many people are into it, and you guys getting into it was great. And then we had a really good, like, I think the discussion we had about like art and filmmaking and stuff during the episode was really fruitful. But I probably agree with Louis as well. Like, the short story one was really fun. But I've enjoyed everything that we've done, to be honest. Like, I can think of really great like conversations that we've had out of each one.
Yeah.
That Lee Hardcastle one in particular was one of my favourites to edit, I have to say. That was like the first time I used actual clips from something that we'd looked at and incorporated that into the podcast, and I really enjoyed how that one came out in the edit. I really liked that one, because I think that for those who didn't know who Lee Hardcastle was going into that one, I think the clips hopefully provide a nice platform as well for making you want to go off and have a listen on your own, or have a watch. Rather.
Yeah, the clips were a great touch.
Yeah,
that was a good week, that one.
And that was sort of sorry, just to finish off that point, it was like it sort of pushed us more towards having a defining style with the podcast, which like is now we have clips for most of them, I think, if not all of them.
Yeah.
So for sure.
It really adds another dimension.
I quite enjoyed recording the Doctor Who one, just because I feel like that had been something that we've been training our whole lives to talk about, and finally we were able to let loose. And just because it's, like we said in the podcast, quite a common talking point in our friend group, so it felt like one of those conversations we'd have regardless of whether or not we were recording it. In terms of like discussion or actually like listening to them outside of it, I'm going to echo Jack and say the Lee Hardcastle one, because I didn't know what to expect going in. I know you said about like claymation and it was going to be YouTube, and I think probably I set my standards too low, and then was really impressed by the quality when we watched them. And that was like something I feel like I must have seen his work in some way, shape or form before, but being able to put a name to it and actually look at like his body of work as a whole was a really good thing, actually. And kind of something I've always been interested by as well, is the whole stop motion animation thing. It's such an interest.
Boom boom boom, everybody say way ho.
Way ho.
Let me 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 say way ho.
Okay, mine is exactly the same as Jamie. So my most fun discussion was Doctor Who one, because when I listened back, I really enjoyed that one as well. Like, I just thought we had good bants and it was really funny, and we were all in a really good mood, because I think that was the episode when we recorded that the day that the podcast first went live, so we were all like a bit happy and buzzing.
Oh yeah.
So that was a really fun one. It was a bit light-hearted and wholesome, so I enjoyed that. But yeah, the topic I enjoyed most was Lee Hardcastle, because I just thought it was really cool, and it was cool to get introduced to it. And it wasn't like right up my street, because I'm not like massively into like gore or horror or anything, but I just think the filmmaking of it was really cool, and like I just really enjoyed how he put it together, and he's obviously just like insanely talented, and it was just cool and different and unique and just sick.
Yeah, not to retread anything that we talked about on that episode, but if you're just at all into filmmaking, then it's just a very interesting medium, and you can, particularly because you can see the seams and how it all kind of works, you can like work it out. but also very admirable. So not to retread. It's very.
I'd
good.
also like to give notable mentions to our 2 special guest episodes. I felt like they were bloody great. I loved having both Anthony and James on.
Yeah, they were
I feel
good.
like the Brazil conversation we had, in terms of like the 4 of us who were on that one. Unfortunately, Liv wasn't there for that one, but the 4 of us who were on it, me, Jack, Jamie, and Anthony. I found that to be the most beneficial in terms of exploring the artwork of that week. I was so intrigued to hear everyone's opinion on that, and I felt like my opinion of the film Brazil changed as a course of the discussion. And I felt like we were all just really curious in that one to try and work out Brazil in a way that in a way that we hadn't quite achieved yet.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do something really terrible to like balance it out, because we like leveled up our Discord when we did that episode. We got very highfalutin at points.
Anthony did raise the stakes a bit. It's like, whoa, no, get out of here with your professional bullshit.
With your like intellectual insights.
We chat about the Venga boys here.
That's why I said like all of the discussions we've had elements where I've really like enjoyed, and that Brazil episode with Anthony. Shout out to Anthony. That was just it was a lot of fun, and it was quite stimulating intellectually. So yeah,
that was enjoyable to listen to as an outsider as well. I enjoy the episodes so much more when I'm not in them.
Have you been reading the comments?
Your
again?
Departure.
Yeah.
Just kidding. We don't have any comments.
No, God no.
What's
Maybe one
everyone's
day.
favourite jingle?
Oh, I was going to ask that. That's a good one. I like. Oh no! Wait, did you actually? Louis, that one you sent. I don't actually know if it's made it into an episode, but the one where it was like with the weird, like nightmarish Simpsons remix.
Oh yeah, I discovered recently an old college music tech project that I'd made.
Oh,
I got a D in music tech, and it's entirely because I would just not do any things with the syllabus. Instead, I made stupid tracks out of like Simpsons clips, and
that's so Louis.
Yeah, I think a portion of that has made it into
I
the
think you
podcast.
did actually
I think
put it
I used
in.
a little snippet. I think I used an instrumental snippet, but not any of the clips that had the Simpsons. I think Twin Peaks was also in that song.
Yeah. No, I enjoyed that one, and I also like that really quiet guitar one you do, which is like the nice little guitar plucking.
That one. You see, you guys don't know the names. I've got file names for all these on my computer. I edit them on, and that one's called "Song for Tina" because we did like a Velvet Glove Cast and Iron that week, and I recorded that one especially. Named them on the fly at the end, and I just thought I called it "Song for Tina." But I know what you mean. I really like.
Was great as well.
Yeah, that was great. I was pleased to show that to the world. I mean, not that I made
What
it.
one?
Daniel Close showed it to the world. Like a Velvet Glove Cast
Like
and
a
Iron.
Velvet Glove.
But yeah, I also really in terms of jingles. I guess it wasn't really a jingle; it was more of an edit. But I really liked the Stone Roses bit we did. It was last week or the week before.
Yeah, that was funny.
I liked
really nicely.
In the Eno episode where you turned Olivia into the computer keys and went up the scale of Olivia.
Oh yeah.
I tell you, it's an amazing feeling to play a keyboard where every note behaves totally differently from every other.
Is that what was going on?
Yeah, let's listen. This is a scale of C. It's It's fantastic.
What was
Quite funny.
what was the one where like me and you say yeah at the same time, Louis, or it's like me and Jamie, and then it's just like yeah, and you didn't kind of hear that. That was a good
I think that's
one.
an outro to one, isn't it?
Yeah,
The
that is right
funny
at the
thing
end.
the funny thing is, right, because that must have been one of the first or second episodes we did, where I thought it was funny that everyone said yeah at the same time. And I don't know what we were agreeing about, some bullshit. But you would not believe since just how many times we'll all go yeah at the same time. It's like it's not remarkable anymore. It's too common. I just leave. I always take like 1 or 2 years out. If we all say it at the same time, it sounds really weird.
It's one of those vocal crutches, isn't it? That you're just never going to be able to get rid of. That's what editing's for.
We were talking about
It's
this
horrible.
earlier. What do you think about fair enough as like a conversational crutch where you just don't really know?
Fair
what to say?
play.
Fair play. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's so.
I'm really hung up
nothingy.
on these recently. It's like when I saw Liv the other week, and I kept saying at the time, I'm getting really annoyed at myself. Whenever I don't know what to say, I just go, heck.
Oh heck.
That's funny though, because it's like kind of taking the mick.
Yeah, it's just a catch-all nothing thing to say, though, isn't it? It means I've got nothing to say.
Yeah.
That's what. It's so annoying when you become aware of it.
I feel like fair enough is more of a closer. There's not very far to go once you've said that.
No.
Yeah.
You've like
Oh,
kind of
right.
killed the conversation with that.
Heck is kind
the
of an
amber light before the red light.
exclamation.
Yeah.
So it could open up a topic of conversation.
Yeah, I guess it's not outright as a closer as fair enough. The one I found quite funny recently is what's it called? It's when people just don't entirely know what to say to someone else. So they go, yeah, it's tricky though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Means nothing. It means absolutely nothing.
It is a funny one.
Oh my god! I always used to say to Louis when he'd be doing some like weird voice or something, I'd just like, "You are a strange one," and I literally was like, "That is the worst actual sequence
freaks
of
me out.
words that's
Yeah.
ever left my mouth." That is.
It's something that your parents say to you.
That's something you say when you've got no personality. You are a strange one.
Anybody does anything out of the ordinary, you weirdo.
You
No
freak.
personality.
Yeah. The vocal crutches are very irritating, but they're so
Necessary.
difficult to like take control of. Like I just did it there. I mean, like is disgraceful. It should
My
be
dad
outlawed.
feels similarly, and I don't feel. I nearly said it then. I don't feel as if we are as bad for it as some other podcasts I've heard. I'd say what is a bigger epidemic amongst the podcasts is everyone starting their next statement with that little, I'm wetting my mouth ready for the next thing I've got to say.
Ew, I hate
So-
that so much.
I
Brace
cut them
yourself,
out
boys.
routinely. I'm going to have to leave one in, this one, unfortunately, just to showcase
Why
what it is I'm
don't you
talking
make a
about
jingle
there.
of it?
No,
I could make them hi-hat.
don't do that. Don't blight the world with that.
Can you turn them into trap hi-hats, please? Give me the trap song I've always wanted.
Guys,
Yeah.
do you remember what the end of season episode, if we weren't in lockdown, was originally going to be about?
Oh, yeah.
Was it the Cat in the Hat?
God. We were going to do the Cat in the Hat, weren't we?
It was the certain hat-cladded cat.
Mike Myers in his furry costume.
I hate that phrase, hat-cladded cat.
I think you came out with it.
It's so annoying.
I'll get you,
funny.
and I'll make it look like an accident.
I say that line so often, I'll get you, and I'll make it look like an accident.
I'll get you.
That paints me out to be
My
a bit of a
favourite-
psycho.
My favourite one from that scene is you're not just stupid, you're ugly, just like your mother. You just whenever anyone makes like the tiniest like faux pas, just like you're not just stupid, you're ugly.
I'm hoping that by the time we get round to releasing some more of these, we may well end up be allowed to be around each other.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Wishful
hopefully.
thinking, perhaps, but and if that's the case, I think the Cat in the Hat has to be the thing that brings us back together. We watched, the four of us watched it last year in May. It was the week.
No,
it was like the week I got back from New Zealand, I think.
Was it last May? Jeez,
What a
time flies,
welcome
doesn't it?
back.
So I was I think I'd kept it a surprise for most of you that I was coming back, and we ended up watching the Cat in the Hat that evening after coming back from
Yeah, well, it was it was Lani's
ended up-
birthday weekend, wasn't it?
That was it. It was Lani's birthday.
Yeah, we went to that really
Yeah.
weird rave in what was the venue called?
Sub 89.
Sub 89. Yeah.
Yeah, Sub
And then
89.
Is that what we did?
I think
I
that
remember none of
was.
that.
No, that wasn't. That was a different weekend.
Oh, that was before Louis got back, maybe.
It was. It
remember that,
was.
That
was
your-
when the people.
Yeah.
That was when the people who live in Colchester that I went to see were
Yeah.
there.
No,
You're thinking of the
who...
weekend we had that barbecue as well, Liv.
barbecue.
Yeah.
It was the Champions League final that weekend because I remember most of the lads in the house.
Yeah, we had a
watch a bit of that.
BBQ. We all went to Turtle on the Friday,
Oh yeah.
and then on the Saturday we had a BB, and then I was really badly hungover and I had a terrible ear infection, so I had to go to the free clinic
Oh yeah.
on Saturday, like just hanging out my ass, and that was a miserable 2 hours. But yeah, then we had a nice little barbecue and we closed the night off with some Cat in the Hat.
Oh God,
A certain
that really
hat-cladded cat.
that really divided our friendship group, didn't it? When someone suggested let's put on the Cat in the Hat, half the room were like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, it'll be funny." Half the room said, "Oh, if you do that, I'm going to bed right now."
Well, we
Whoever
managed
the brave soul was, they stuck it on, and
we managed to all come to the conclusion that it was horrible, but it was how you felt about it. It was like, do you find it enjoyable despite the horror, the abject horror that is within the tape?
Not
Or-
really.
Can
it's
you just not
disgusting
bear
to
it?
look at. It's one of the ugliest looking films I've ever laid my eyes upon.
It's a film that smells. You know what I mean?
certain
Like you can smell it.
like the Dr. Seuss like creatures. So like it's the same in the
Yeah.
Grinch. The Grinch isn't too bad, but it's more the people like he lives in a town with, like what are they, Munchkins?
The Who's.
Yeah, the Who's. They really give me the creeps. So does the Cat in the Hat, and so does the Muppets. Something about them really
The
sets
Muppets?
my... Yeah, the Muppets are so creepy.
They're not. They're lovely and
I was
childlike.
gonna say,
Oh
they're
no!
really-
This is a throwback. This is a complete throwback to like a few years ago. We were having a discussion about like phobias and stuff because I like have quite the fear of like clowns and dolls and stuff, like dummies. And Liv just couldn't get over the fact that I didn't find the Muppets creepy at all, despite the fact that puppets and dolls freak me out because the Muppets are just really sweet, nice creatures who are lovely.
They're not though. You know, the thing about the Muppets that creeps me out is that occasionally you meet someone who has the same...
Occasionally you meet a Muppet.
No, occasionally you meet someone who looks a bit like a Muppet. And I'm not saying it in a bad way. Like, you know, they can be
What
pretty
way
good...
is there to say it in?
Well, no, I'm not saying they can be pretty good looking people or whatever, but
Muppets.
sometimes they just have a Muppet-like quality about their face, and I think it's that
People
quality in the Muppets that's sort of human-like, but also really creepy
This
and
is very
different.
bizarre.
I take your point about the Dr. Seuss things, and I think especially with the Dr. Seuss things is that in like the Cat in the Hat film and the Grinch film, they've gone for actual people to play them, and that's what makes
Yeah.
them look really horrifying because they're not drawn or animated.
I think-
they are people in the makeup, and they're horrifying.
I think The Grinch is a really ugly film as well. Like I think that's about as ugly. The only thing that separates The Grinch is it has kind of a like it's got a bit more of a fantasy element to it. Whereas The Cat in the Hat is just like it's like reality but through
Yeah.
like plexiglass. It's so distorted and nightmarish that it makes me feel sick. Like film that actually like makes me nauseous when I look at it, even though like it's quite entertaining in a very odd and specific way.
Lazy Town had the same vibes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my god, you're so right.
How do you guys plan to spend your break time from your summer holidays from the podcast?
I'm gonna start writing a lot more, and do the other million projects that I've got on the go. Just use my time a bit better. Hopefully, doing the podcast has actually been quite good because it's meant that this weird like void that we've been existing in has had some kind of form and structure to it. So hopefully that'll continue post all this madness, and make me a slightly more productive person.
Yeah, as someone who's unemployed at the moment, it's been nice to have some certainties in the week of what I'll do in terms of editing and releasing the podcast and all that crap.
Yeah. What are you planning on doing, Liv?
I will be doing lots of writing as well because I've really fallen off of that. Because I've been back at work, I find that when you work full time, it's so hard. Well, I don't know, maybe I'm just a very undisciplined person, but I really find it hard to like fit anything else into my life other than socializing or like winding down, if that makes sense. So just like you get home from work and then you just have to sit for like an hour and just like relax and literally do nothing other than like go on your phone or not even watch TV, just like sit mindlessly. And then like I don't know, you need to eat food and then you just want to like watch film or something or not be productive. But now I'm like, I really, really, really need to get on with some writing. And I'm also going to move out and go to uni as well, move up to uni. So yeah.
Do it all over again.
Oh yeah. What about you guys?
Collecting degrees.
Louis and Jamie?
Well, like I said, still unemployed. So I feel a bit like what Liv was saying when I have worked in the past, that I find it hard to do anything very creative in my spare time because all I want to do is just sort of lie down and sleep or something.
Yeah.
Or socialise. But now that none of those things can really happen, including work, I feel like I've got to constantly be capitalising on all this time to just develop things that I've been wanting to develop for a long time. I mean, this podcast is one of them. When I was away at the start of the year, my good friend Steph said to me that she'd written a list of 25 things to do before 25. And so I've since written one. I'm like 9 of the way through the 25 things. And record the podcast was one of them. And that's still going on, so I'm pleased with that. So yeah, it's been nice to just devote a lot of time to just things I've actually been wanting to do for some years. Like my cooking's got to come along so much better in lockdown as well. Not having a job, it's kind of all I think about is what I can cook the next day.
That's what I was like.
Done a lot of writing as well. Jack and I have been working on a project, which is
coming soon.
Which is very good.
Some sort of fruit.
I've had a sneak peek.
Grazie.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm honestly I can't complain too much. I'm quite happy with my lot. But I think the plan is to still keep recording these just at a less strict schedule as we had been the past 5 or 6 weeks. We'd built up a bit of a backlog initially, so we didn't have to worry about it too much.
Yeah.
But as it started to, I wouldn't say infringe. I don't think it infringed very heavily, but I think it's just nice to not have the pressure of, I've got to watch the film we're going to watch this week, or read the story we've got to read, and just do it more at our own pace.
If we can reveal how the sausage is made a little bit, for those who are interested, when we started the pod, we essentially, yeah, as Louis said, recorded a backlog, and since we ran out of episodes in the backlog, we lost our buffer zone. So suddenly scheduling and timing and stuff became a lot more important. And now that some of us have gotten gainful employment and others haven't, like we've had to juggle a lot of different like scheduling and stuff. So one of the reasons why we want to take a sort of semester off is so we can get back on that sort of vibe, isn't it, really? So we have more of a safety net, so we're a lot more regular, and we're not worrying about finding things, because if we might end up rushing a decision to talk about something. So it's really for the benefit of the podcast and everyone listening to it that we take some time to reassess, and hopefully when we come back to it we can be a lot more productive and a lot more regular and stuff. So
not that Jamie. I think the past few weeks in terms of quality, sorry, just before Jamie says what he's going to do, not that I think they've dropped in quality per se. I think the podcast has very much gotten better as it's gone on. But I certainly think conversationally we're a lot more up for it if we've got a bit more time on our hands to get about the artwork or whatever it is we've got to look at. And also, from a more practical point of view, it allows for us to plan guests and topics a bit more easily. So, and we've got some nice guests lined up for next time out. And I bet people have already been thinking about what they want to pick for future episodes. So yeah, I think it would just mean the next bunch are a bit more streamlined and probably just a bit better.
Yeah.
It's what we can.
Jamie, what are you going to do in your summer holiday?
Well, whilst I'm still in the wilderness of furlough, so until I get the call back from work, it's going to be more of the same, really. Stuff that I've been planning to do or wanting to do for a while that I finally got round to doing because I've got so much spare time. I've recently started learning the piano. That's been quite fun. I had more time to do that. That'd be good. I've also got back into sketching. I used to draw loads when I was younger, and I hadn't done it for ages. And then the other day I was like, I'll try and get back into that. So I think I'm going to do some more drawing.
Nice.
Yeah, just little things. I'm not particularly good at any of them, but I enjoy them.
What sort of things you sketch?
Mostly just like little cartoon characters. I used to do that a lot when I was younger, and it's always a go-to now. Kind of sapped some of the enjoyment out of it when I started doing it for A-level and stuff. Not that I didn't enjoy those subjects, but like when you do anything for a course or as like a dedicated thing, by the end of it you kind of want to break from it.
Did you do art at A-level? I didn't know that.
I did, yeah. I did indeed.
I was always very envious of the A-level art guys. I felt like I wanted to be in that crowd a little bit, but I have no ability in that field, so it was just never feasible.
Well, I don't know. It's like one of those. Oh, it's such a subjective thing. I don't feel like technically you need to be super proficient. Do you know what I mean? Like, as long as you've got a style, or even, like I said, I don't think I'm particularly good, but I just like doing it. I find it quite enjoyable.
It's very relaxing. I want to do some more drawing and painting. I think when I'm in more of a routine, I'm gonna pick up the old paints, and I want to just like paint some stuff on my wall, like that I can hang up. Like when I look at all this nice artwork, and I'm like, oh, I'd love to like have some artwork on my wall, and it's like, why don't I just paint it myself? Because then I don't have to spend loads of money on like loads of artwork. I can just like.
I was thinking this today, actually, just before we did the podcast. I started following our friend Natasha Wood's art page, and I was like, oh, her stuff's really quite good, actually. I really like a lot of the more abstract stuff. I was like, that would look quite good on a wall.
Yeah.
So it's quite good. It's quite good knowing arty friends, isn't it?
I feel like that's a really good conversation starter as well. Like when somebody says, "Oh, I like that thing on the wall," and then you ask where it's from, and they're like, "Oh, it's actually I did it as well."
Yeah, the piece of art that Liv brought back from Vietnam that I've got hanging up over the fireplace is sick. It's like a dragon mixed with a dog. It's so cool.
It's like
so
a dragon.
I've not seen that.
It's sick. It's from Vietnam.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I'll send a photo of it.
I'll send a pic. Yeah,
I'd like to see it up.
Should we wrap this up?
Let's do it, honey.
Should we say our goodbyes to the listeners?
All right, everyone can.
Don't say goodbye. Say au revoir.
Yeah.
No.
Everyone can have their moment.
Everyone say, so long, farewell, pip pip, cheerio, we'll be
Cheerio,
back.
we'll be
Back soon.
And when we're in the distance, you'll hear this whispered tune. So long, farewell, pip pip, cheerio,
We'll be back soon.
Good riddance.
You've just made a jingle.
That's what we were secretly hoping for, I think.
And when we're in the distance, you'll hear this whispered tune.
Cheerio, we'll be back soon.
So long, farewell, pip pip, cheerio, we'll be back soon.
If you made it through that one, listener, then I truly commend you. Big thank you to Jack, Olivia and Jamie, as always, who've been a treat to do this with for 12 episodes. A big thank you to our special guest episodes this season in Anthony Dragonetti and James Freeman. But the biggest thank you goes to you, the listener. It's been a hoot to do this, and the fact that anyone out there in the ether listens to it is very gratifying. We'll be back at some point, but for now, do check out the plethora of talented writing on Cavity Mag, as that is continuing in the absence of the podcast, and be sure to follow @Cavity Magazine on Twitter for the direct feed. Anyway, till we meet again, goodbye.